Hello again, everyone. Welcome to the Hire My VA Team and Business Building podcast, where we help you to reclaim your freedom through hiring and thriving with virtual assistants without breaking the bank. And that means your bank. And I'm Dave Braun. And again, I'm here with the great Larry Broughton. Larry,
And
you're
I'm
my friend, my mentor, and I learn something from you
oh,
every single day. It's just a blast to be working with you, my friend.
well, I feel the same way about you, David. Thank you. You inspire me so much. I just love your heart and your compassion, and I wish I were could be you when I grow up.
Oh man,
I love your
you know,
discipline. So,
yeah.
handsome
Thanks
Dave,
for
I
that.
just am so glad that we are on the journey together. Um,
Thanks for that. Maybe we need to get a stress test on you right now.
yeah, I'm a little wackadoo,
Yeah.
wackadoo today. I know we're going to get messages. Larry, you should just be you. I do want to be me. I'm just saying there are a lot of things, Dave, about you
Well,
that,
and
that you inspire me. That I wish I had, you know, more of you in me. You know what I mean? That sounded a little creepy. Don't get weird, people. Um, I just mean like your discipline, your compassion. You know, your analytic mind. Those are things I just wish that I were.
but I mean, it
More of.
goes both ways, you know. I wish I had your, the amount of strength and your ability to get the greatest out of people, and I mean, so many other things. And like we were on a call with some folks earlier, some of our clients, and just the way you framed the conversation, you made them feel so at ease. I mean, you're so adept at that, and so and one of the things, Larry, and that's why we work well together, is
Yeah,
you like my strengths and I like yours, and we
yeah,
feed off each other. It's perfect, right?
yeah.
Uh,
I think it's a good way, and we do need to spend more time on this. I think at some point, Dave, is to talk more about the dynamics of successful partnerships.
yeah.
What feeds into that, and what are some pitfalls that you may have, or some red flags you might see before going into a partnership. How often do we see this with our clients, Dave? Hey, this person wants to be a partner with mine. Okay, how long have you known them? Well, we just met them last week in an event. No, don't do it. I don't know anything about them, but don't do it. Right. So we should spend a little more time about that. But
That's
before we get
great.
too far off track, let's talk about what the topic of today's podcast is, and the question that we've got.
Okay. So the question for today is, it's kind of like a fundamental one. And I was
Uh-huh.
surprised, we really hadn't addressed it. We're like at 93 episodes or something like that. So I know we've addressed it a little bit, but maybe just not as specific as we needed to. If that makes sense. And
Yes.
this one and the next one too.
Uh-huh.
So here's the question: is why is a virtual assistant important?
I'm laughing because episode 93. Now we're finally hitting why is this important?
I know. Let's rewind. Okay, really, everybody, this is episode one. It's
All right. So
1.93.
I'm glad we're having fun on this, but I'm going
Uh,
to pull the curtain back a little bit, Dave. Maybe you've just stumbled on us on YouTube or on YouTube or Apple iTunes or wherever that you found this podcast or recording. You have no idea who we are or how we run these things. Um, so every week or a couple times a week, we'll take questions from viewers or from clients, and we spend a little bit of time answering the question. And but we just recorded. I'm gonna pull the curtain back. We just got done recording the previous episode, which was question topic number 93 or episode number 90 or 92. I'm sorry,
92.
92.
Yep.
And at the end of these, we do our normal wrap up of the podcast, just like every podcaster does, right?
Mhm.
Hey, follow us here, go do that. And then I end up doing a little, I close this out. Sometimes I'm feeling inspired and I give a little 1 minute homily or 2 minute homily or whatever it is, however I'm feeling inspired at the moment. And I know that most people never see that because you start to wrap up and you hit the end of the recording. But for those people who hang on, you may have heard us talking about one of my favorite mantras, and Dave subscribes to this as well, which makes us great business partners, is that if you want to live a life of success,
Mhm.
you have to stop chasing success. And I know that that's counterintuitive, it's countercultural, but instead you have to live a life of significance, right? You have to live a life of significance and create significance in your family, in your community, in your place of work, in your place of worship. Um, because if you live a life of significance in those areas, success is the byproduct,
Right.
right? And I can't think, Dave, of another area in business that this is more important, where we can not only create, by hiring a virtual assistant, we find more freedom in our lives, but you could hire a VA in the US. We have had VA or US based virtual assistants.
Yeah.
But where I have found that we've made the most legacy, the most impact, created the most significance, are those folks who are VAs, who are highly educated, highly intelligent, share our core values, but they were born in a third world or developing country, right? And we're changing multi-generational paths of, in some cases, poverty, and
Yes.
helping them buy homes for grandparents, put their kids through school, provide for the first time in their professional lives some security, financial security and longevity,
Yeah.
right? The impact becomes exponential for us. And I think that that's one of those things that, yeah, we're going to talk about why it's important to hire a VA. But if you think about that, we live in a global economy right now, and that's just the truth. And believe me, I absolutely believe in hiring and buying American. I am a patriot more than most people will ever know, right? But if you are a entrepreneur or a business owner and you need help and you can't afford paying 15, 25, $35 an hour, but you still need the help, your business may not survive
Absolutely true.
unless you
Yeah.
get help. And if you can hire someone who's got a master's degree in the Philippines, for instance, right, who's highly educated, absolutely motivated, and they're just looking for a chance, and it's going to help them and it's going to help you survive in business, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? And honestly, for those who look at, one of the things that frustrates me, Dave, and I know that we're getting way off topic, but I think it's important because I'm just going to, you know me at this point. If my heart is saying talk about it, I go with that these
Sure.
days. I think that there are more patriotic Americans who were not born on the soil than a lot of Americans who have been here for generations. Why, Larry? Well, because a lot of these immigrants who come here know how bad it could be or where they came from, right? And so there are a lot of these VAs who are based elsewhere who are just looking for a chance. They're looking for an opportunity, right? And in some cases, they are in survival mode. They may be highly educated, maybe a lot of experience. But anyway, I just think it's important that if you want to live a life of success, and you got to seek significance first. And I think that this program helps people live a life of significance by employing someone who might not be employed otherwise, and help your business to survive, find more freedom.
Yeah, and hopefully your business is a business where you are creating significance for your clients as well.
That's right.
If you're an expert at what you do, which probably most of you listening to this are, and you want to keep that expertise going for your clients,
Yeah.
if you are a solopreneur, your clients are banking on the fact that you are going to always be there, always at top notch, and that you're going to be the best out there. And in reality is you can get virtual assistants to help you overcome the fact that you may end up having to get surgery, or you want to take a vacation or whatever, as well as finding folks that are better than you. Maybe not in everything. That's the way we teach. You want to find somebody who's better than you in an area that you need help with, because then your business serves your clients better. And then of course you can attract more clients and make more of a difference in the world. Right. So yeah, we're getting into the whys. These are deep things about why do you want to basically build a team?
Yeah. Maybe you're somebody who's listened to a dozen of these podcasts, but you've never listened all the way to the end. I'm just going to encourage you, go back. I'm going to say 70% of the time, there's a little bit of a nugget right there at the end. It's almost like my son now, like when I go to a movie with my son, we do not get up. Like a lot of people get up when the credits start to roll, right? It's like, we're not getting up, because sometimes there's a great nugget after the credits, right? And that's almost what this is, particularly if it's like you think it might be a series, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes they close the loop after the credits with an additional scene or two, or it sets up the next film, right?
Yes.
And so maybe think about these podcasts that way. Just hang out to the very end, all right? Because sometimes there's some golden nuggets in there. How's that?
That sounds good, man.
Okay.
I agree. I'm ready.
All right, let's go.
I want to hire a
Dave?
virtual assistant now. Oh, we've done that.
Oh, we already did. Yeah. All right.
And we're doing it.
Yeah. All right. So, but let's dive into this. And we've already kind of touched on it, but why is it that hiring a virtual assistant is so darn important?
Yeah. Well,
that's the question, right?
Yeah. So we can get in a few more specifics here. We can't expand or scale without building a team, without having people on our team. And so that's, and that's one of the things, right? So you just can't.
Yeah, you kind of alluded to this one earlier. Sometimes you can't handle the unexpected very well if you don't have assistance. You had mentioned, maybe you've got to go have a surgery, or you need to take some time off, or maybe you need a break for a few days because of some kind of, what do they call it? Bereavement. Something has popped up like that, right? You need to have someone who's going to keep the wheels turning in the organization for you. You just can't serve your clients very well unless you've got somebody on your team to help serve and support, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you can't, another item is you can't accomplish your mission and vision as well. You won't be able to do it to the level that you want, because as smart as you probably are at this, and Larry, you're smart and I'm smart, but we're not smart everywhere, right? Yeah. We have a team around us to make up for what some of the stuff is we don't have, as we kind of talked about that earlier. The other thing related to accomplishing our mission and vision is we're going to be going in pretty soon for, we're going to be out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, most of Sunday, right? 4 or 5 days at a conference working with entrepreneurs.
That's right.
We couldn't do that and take that time away to make more success and significance in other people's lives unless we had, a team behind us. Otherwise, everything just stops when we're gone.
Yeah. And I've heard this too, David. That's a great point. We've heard this too from clients, is that their business just becomes a lot more fun because they get to do things with other people. You get to talk about the successes, you get some collaboration that's going on. Finally, you get to work in your strengths instead of like doing all the stuff that you don't like to do or you're not good at. Right. So those are some important elements I think we cannot forget or diminish as well. Right.
Yeah. And those are just some of them. But then I think, and we're talking about like in that case, offloading tasks or accelerating tasks, maybe doing things that are the better, doing more of them all as well. But there's a mindset shift, Larry, I think. And that's where once you start having people doing some of the tasks, you have more time to be able to start thinking strategically and maybe a little bit less tactically, right?
If that's how you're built, for sure.
Yeah. And everybody has a certain level of strategic thinking, right? So maybe we ought to talk about what we think strategic versus tactical thinking is.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, one of my top 5 strengths in the Clifton Strength Finders is being strategic, right? And so strategic is more big picture, like the what, the where, the when, the why. The why is so important for this, right? Tactical oftentimes is the how, right? How are we going to actually accomplish these strategic goals that we have, right? Someone has to be the person up there on the, what do they call it on a ship when you've got the bird's nest or whatever they call it? The crow's nest.
Crow's nest, yeah. The lookout.
They look out and see what's scanning the horizon, right? Somebody's got to be doing that. But then he's going to yell down, "Okay, turn the wheel that way." Or can you tell that I wasn't in the Navy? You get the point, though, right? So when you have help, when you have virtual assistants, you have more time to lift your head up and look around, survey the landscape, survey the battlefield. All right, so you can shift fire. Okay. So and maybe I think that's one of the big benefits why it's so important.
Yeah. And you mentioned that some people aren't built to think strategically as much as others. And it's true. I think there's a good exercise that came to mind that anybody can do no matter what your level. And you could take a few minutes to do it. You could take an hour to do it. You can do it with your team or on your own, doing like a SWOT analysis.
Yeah.
Where you talk about your organization or your business or, the marketplace or whatever. And you think of SWOT, SWOT, strengths, like what the strengths are, the weaknesses, any weaknesses, opportunities, and potential threats. Right.
Yeah.
So once you have a framework, then I think you can step into a little bit of strategic thinking there. And
That's right.
And that's a good tool set to do that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that I think that the strategic versus tactical is really important. But additionally, when you bring on virtual assistants, it allows you as the founder, you as the CEO, or you as the business owner, whatever it is, you can actually start seeking talent outside your local area. Crying out loud, right? We've got some clients who live very remotely.
Yes.
And they can't figure out, why can't I find people who are great at X, Y, and Z? Well, listen, if you live in a community of 500 people, the odds are you're not going to find people, but you move your business to downtown Boise, for instance, or downtown New York, and your talent pool all of a sudden opens up. Well, guess what? You're probably living in that remote area because of the quality of life that you're seeking. Well, guess what? This is a great opportunity. All of a sudden, worldwide, you can start searching for people who've got these high degrees or high levels of experience or post-secondary degrees in education that might actually help you out as well, right? So I think that's another thing to actually consider is larger pool to seek talent from.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of companies who have really recognized this these days with the pandemic, right? And
that's right.
Forcing people to work virtually. And so many of them are finding, wow, we're more productive. We enjoy it more. Our team members really like that, working from home. So it could be a really big winner. And they're also finding, though, Larry, that the amount of costs that people are saving.
Yes.
Because there's the gas costs of a car, there's the office space, as well as finding a virtual assistant in a part of the country or even another country where the dollar goes a lot longer.
That's right.
Like we're in Southern California, and it's kind of expensive here.
Well, it's very expensive here. And even think about the Silicon Valley, some real world examples when the pandemic hit and a lot of these high tech companies said, yes, you can now work remotely. Well, instead of having to buy a $800 or $1 million home, which is like what homes cost up there in Silicon Valley, people were moving to Nashville or Texas, where they could get a beautiful house for a couple $100,000 and still be earning the same wage, right?
Absolutely.
So it's the same thing. You can hire, but when you hire virtual assistants who work, let's say the Philippines, for instance, you can hire somebody who's got a master's degree, several years of experience at a fraction of what same type of person, same degree, same level of experience here. And so, yes, your operating costs drop. But something else, Dave, I think that people oftentimes forget when you work with someone who's working halfway around the world, all of a sudden it's important, because if you are trying to keep your business running efficiently while I'm sleeping, I could have someone else doing other work.
Yes.
Right. So I could do a meeting in the evening, which would be the morning, which I do right now. Like right now, our VP of Business Development is in London, 8-hour difference, right? So we might connect in the morning for him, which is at night for me. He does work through the night. I get up in the morning. It's the late afternoon for him. We connect again. And so there's stuff that's going on constantly around the clock. Instead of, if all my employees are in my same time zone, things stop at the end of the day. Unless you're like the hotel industry, for instance, where our hotels are staffed 24 hours a day. But it's basically taking advantage of the time zone differences.
Yeah. And a lot of people will also think that, well, if I hire somebody in another part of the world that, I really want somebody to overlap a lot with me. Well, there are a lot of people that you can hire, and we find people. It's one of the questions we ask in our white glove service is what kind of overlap you want. So, and there are people that want to work at night, and it works best for their schedules and their body clock, as well as, their family life. So if they work at night, then they have time, a little bit of time during the day to help take care of their kid or their
Right.
aging parent or something like that. So
Mhm.
don't just dismiss the fact that if somebody's going to be working in a time zone that's 12 hours away, that they're going to be 12 hours difference from you
Yeah.
when they're working. So
Yeah.
you work with them on what makes sense for them as well as you.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good. It's really
Okay.
good.
Well, there's a lot of advantages in working with virtual assistants. Anything else you can think of off the top of your head, Larry?
Well, having a virtual assistant is really important, but I'll wrap it up in this. If you are interested in learning more about this, listen, make a comment in the video or in the podcast comments, however you can do that. Reach out to us. Dave and I are available for coaching, spotlight sessions, all kinds of things. Um, don't go on this entrepreneurial and business ownership journey by yourself. It's
Yeah.
just it's going to be a very frustrating process for you.
Yeah,
But
folks.
we're here to help. We just want to help you find more freedom in your life.
Yeah, because as we talk about over and over, building a team is the way to reclaim your freedom. Yeah, guys, subscribe to our stuff. One of the best things that you can do, we'll do a little bit different sign off this time, but all of our resources, everything you can access things, it's at HireMyVA.com.
Yeah.
Our YouTube channel, you can just go to YouTube and search for HireMyVA and all one word. I mean, it's pretty easy to find us.
Yes.
If you just happen to um, listen to this somewhere else or somebody tells you about it, it's pretty easy to find where we're at. We're trying to be out there everywhere. So come check out our white glove service, what we've got online, check out what we
Yes.
do, look at our course, look at our community, and just take advantage of this opportunity to be able to build a team and to, like what we said, reclaim your freedom. And of course, without breaking your bank account.
Yeah. Hey, if you've listened to more than a couple of these, you've probably picked up on that Dave and I are very close. We've known each other for over 20 years at this point. I would call Dave, if not my best friend, one of my best friends. And it's an honor to work with you, Dave. But really, it's an honor, folks, to find someone that you can walk on life's path together
Yeah.
with. Dave is blessed in that he's got a bride that he shares his life with. I think 38 years you've been married to the same woman. Rarity, right? In today's world, but Dave and I are close friends, and we get together. We talk every day. We get together once a week, every Wednesday, with two other friends of ours. You have to set your life up like this. If you don't, then just the hustle and bustle of life will leave you alone by
Yeah.
yourself. And life is not meant to be a solo journey. The lone wolf stereotype is a myth. All right. You have to have people who are bolder and brighter than you are in your life. And so, Dave, I thank you. I love you. Thanks for being on the journey with me. And my friends, I'm going to leave you with this, as I always do. And I just want you to picture this. God bless you. God keep you, and God hold you. All right, my friends, go get them. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.